Hello, and welcome to the last week before winter break. We are going to be doing a pixel art. You probably remember that from last year. We're going to be creating the sheet ourselves this time, resizing the cells, making our conditional formatting, and then I gave you a mystery picture to try to solve. So you can work along with me with this video, pausing at different points, going and doing the steps that I do so that you're sure that you do it correctly. But make sure you're following along because I'm going to show you the colors that you need to create in order to make your mystery picture work. Okay, so first you're going to come to the December's assignments. This is Monday and Tuesday, the 21st and 22nd. You can go ahead and view that assignment. You'll see here I gave you two different mystery pictures. They're actually the same mystery pictures. They're just different views. This I did a screenshot so that it gives you the number rows and it gives you the letters across the top. So that might help you when you go to actually create the mystery picture itself, which you kind of know what it is, but you'll see what it finally looks like. And then this is just a PDF. If you'd rather work off of this, zoom in, however you want to do it, whichever works easier for you. It's the same exact picture. I just gave you two options to work off of. All right, so one is actually watching this video, what you're doing right now. I'm going to show you how to resize your cells and start creating your picture. You're going to solve your mystery picture, which is number 2. And then once you're done, you can do about 10 minutes of typing. So this should, this is going to take us over the course of the next 2 days. And you can also work on any other assignments that you still owe me leading into winter break, okay? So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and click on the attachment that I gave you. This is going to bring you to a sheet that is labeled Winter Mystery Picture. And you can see right now our cells within our sheet are rectangles and we need them to be perfect squares, right? In order to do pixel art, it needs to be a square. So we need to resize the cells. Now, in order to do this, you have to resize the columns and then resize the rows. You can't do them all at once. Google Sheets is a little bit weird like that. So we're going to start by doing the columns. We're going to start by clicking on the letter A in the column header. So you click on A, so it's highlighted like that. You're going to scroll all the way over to the end, which is Z, and we're going to hold the Shift key. So while I'm holding Shift, I'm then going to click the letter Z, and that'll highlight everything A to Z. So I clicked on A, I scrolled over, I held Shift, and then I clicked on Z. Okay, why don't you go ahead and try highlighting all the cells now? All right, now that everything's highlighted, we're going to resize them. So we can resize them 2 different ways. You can right-click with 2 fingers at the same time and come to resize here. Or if right-clicking is difficult, you can come under, I believe it's format. Let's look. Maybe not format. Let's see. There is definitely... format, align, merge, text wrapping, font size. Well, maybe it is only right-clicking on it. It's the only way you can get to it. I thought there was another way, but we'll just stick with the right-clicking. All right, so right-click brings us down to where it says resize columns, okay, A to Z, and then we're going to change this to 25. And then we're going to click OK, and you're going to see all of those kind of shrink up. All right, we're going to do the same thing, and actually we only really need to do 1 through 40 because that's how big the picture is. So we're going to do the same thing where we click on the number 1 to highlight the number 1. We're going to scroll down till we hit, let's do 50 just to be safe. So here's 50. I'm going to hold the Shift key. While I'm holding Shift, I'm going to click 50, and that'll highlight everything in between. So we click on 1 and let go, hold Shift, click on 50, and then it highlights everything in between. Same thing, right click, resize rows, and same thing, we want to change it to 25, right? Because on a square, all the sides are the same. So 25 by 25, hit OK. And now we have our perfect squares for our pixel art. All right, so that's the first thing we need to do. Now we need to create our color. So if we're going to be making our picture, the mystery picture that I gave you, you need black, red, orange, gray, and blue, and green. So I'm going to go through making all of them with you. Before we do that, what I'd like you to do is you can click and drag or that click and shift, we need to add some extra columns because we definitely need extra columns. I know that for a fact. So if I click and drag to highlight or click, shift, and highlight any number you want, and then we can come up to insert 9 columns to the right just to make it a little bit longer. And then if we need to add more later, we can, but this gives us a bigger spot to work with. All right, so to create our colors, we're going to click in the upper corner here. It's this little blank box in between the 1 and the 9. You have to do this because what we're doing is we're talking to the sheet and we're telling the sheet this rule, this color that we're about to create, we want it to work everywhere. So we have to highlight it. If you create a color and you're only clicked in one cell, you're telling the computer, I want you to make this rule work, but I only want it to work here. I only want it to work in cell 05. And that's not what we want. We want our rules to work everywhere. So we're going to click in the corner, highlight it all. Okay. Then we're coming to format and we're coming down to conditional formatting and click that. So at this point right now, if you haven't resized your columns and rows, I need you to go and do that. And then I want you to open up the conditional formatting here, go and do that, and then come back to the video. All right, so we're going to make our first color. So we're going to leave this all highlighted. We can see our range says A1 to AI 1000, or whatever, you might say AJ, whatever you highlighted to, but you want it to be the whole sheet, so it'll automatically fill that in as long as you're highlighted. We're going to change this to text is exactly, and we're going to start with the number 1. We want our first 1 to be the color black. So we need to change 2 things. We need to change the paint bucket to black, and then we need to change the text to black. And we're going to do this on every color. You need to change the paint bucket and the text. Once you do that, you click done. And now I made my first color. I'm going to move on to number 2. The second color I'm going to make, so I'm going to do the same thing, text is exactly. The number 2, we're going to make that green. So we're going to open our box. So we're going to pick, I like the darkish green, so maybe that color. And see if I don't change the text, see how you can see the word custom? That's not what we want. So if you see this, that's wrong. You know you need to go back and change your text color as well. The exact same green, and now it blends in. And then we hit done. All right, so go make your black and green now, 1 and 2. All right, number 3, we're going to keep adding our rules. We're going to make all of our colors first. Text is exactly. We're going to make it the number 3. We're going to make this red. So I kind of like this darker red here. So I change my paint bucket. I change my words, and I hit done. So now I have black, green, and red. I need to add my number 4. So I change this to text is exactly. The number 4, and this is going to be a blue, like a pretty blue, a sky blue, maybe like that. And we're going to say blue. Okay. 2 more colors to make. So again, we should have black, green, red, and blue at this point. If you don't, you can pause the video now and go make those. All right, our last 2 colors are orange and gray. So we're going to add another color. We're going to say text is exactly, and we're going to say the number 5. And we're going to make the number 5 gray. So I want to make sure I'm doing the right one. So we're going to make text is exactly the number 5, and we're going to make it a gray color, like a light gray. Doing my paint bucket. And I'm doing my, you can see I grabbed the wrong gray. See how it's slightly different? So I got to grab the one lighter to it. You got to make sure you're grabbing the same color so it blends. All right, and the last color is orange, and that's going to be number 6. So I'm going to say add one last rule. We're going to say text is exactly the number 6. Change the paint bucket. Change the letter. And then click done. Okay? Once you have all of these colors listed, we're actually going to end up closing this. But what I'd like you to do right now is go and make all of your colors exactly how I did it. See, I'm still highlighted. I haven't clicked anywhere in the sheet. I did it all over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, with my colors. Black, green, red, blue, gray, orange. And the numbers do have to match these colors. Otherwise, the mystery picture isn't going to work. So 1 has to be black, 2 has to be green, 3 has to be red, and so on. Go make those, then come back. All right, so now that we have all of our colors made, we're going to close the conditional formatting bar here, and I'm going to come over and I'm going to list all the numbers down. So I have almost a key. So see how I'm next to number 1? I'm going to type the number 1 and I'm going to hit enter. Then next to number 2, I'm going to type the number 2 and hit enter. Number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. So that's the colors. Those are the colors that I just created, right? So anywhere I type my 1. So now I know when I'm doing my mystery picture, whatever color I'm going to be making, okay? So here we go. Going back to my mystery picture here. I can see if I use this one, and you can zoom in on this one as well. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit and then, whoa, zoom in. And then won't let me zoom up. It's kind of weird how it's doing that. All right, so I'm looking here. I'm starting at the letter K, and I'm using the number 1s. I'm going from column K all the way over to column Y. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to find column K, and I'm going to type the number 1 all the way to column Y. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to look at the second row. I'm starting in I, and I'm using all number 1s again, and I'm going to AA. So I, and I'm going all the way to AA. And this is what you're doing. You're going to work your way through back and forth. If you want to do a split screen and pull it half and half, if you think that's easier for you to work on, if you want to jump back and forth between tabs, it's your choice, but you need to work your way all the way down. And I would go row by row. I find row by row or column by column, but I think rows are easier. But it's your choice how you want to complete this. But you're going to go through filling in the numbers that are appropriate to create your final picture. When I go to grade this, I am going to be opening up your conditional formatting. So every time I look at one of yours, I'm going to come to format. I'm going to click conditional formatting, and I want to see all of your colors written here, because what I'm looking for is your ability to create these rules that work throughout the entire sheet. So please do not go through and just use the paint bucket. That is going to make you fail this assignment, because I need to see the conditional formatting, okay? So once your conditional formatting is done, you complete your picture. Then you can go ahead and close this, and then go ahead and turn in your assignment, and you can go to typing and spend some time typing. I don't expect that you will necessarily finish this on Monday, which is why I gave you 2 days to finish it. So if you don't finish it today, that's fine. You'll finish it tomorrow, and then you can do your typing tomorrow. All right. As usual, if you have any questions, you can just go ahead and shoot me a message in GoGuardian, or you can jump back into the Google Meet, which I'll have open for you, and I will be there to help. All right. Good luck.